Hello and welcome to the CinemATL podcast for January 2019.
2019 is here.
Yes. The CinemATL podcast is a monthly podcast that examines the world of entertainment through the lens of local Atlanta filmmakers. That would be us, your hosts. I am Michael D. Friedman.
And I'm Martin Kelly.
And we're here to guide you through the magical world of filmmaking. We did not plan that. That was synergistic.
That was awesome. That was awesome. And when we say monthly, we mean to be monthly.
Yeah.
You may have noticed, or you probably haven't, that we did miss last month. But we're back, new year.
We're spending the holidays with our families.
That's right.
So,
That's right. So you can't blame us for that.
Back off, people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just peaked the sound with that, but okay, whatever.
For those of you who are new,
yes,
the CinemATL podcast focuses on independent filmmakers in Georgia. We talk about industry news, mostly centered on Georgia films, but we also do a big movie review every month. And then we do a top 3 that's semi-related. This time, it's going to be not quite that related. It's going to be related to our technique topic rather than our big movie review. So
why don't we just go through how we normally do this podcast here. So yeah, we start out with industry news, like you said. We'll look at what's filming now and what's coming out, and then any other topics we might have, and then we'll roll into our top 3, which this month will be Oscar snubs.
Yes, top 3 Oscar
snubs. Oscar snubs, and then we'll go into our big review, which is Glass, which is not a Georgia film, but.
No. But
the
big movie reviews never necessarily have to be a Georgia film.
No, it's the big review, the big movie that's out right now. So, and then we go into our technique topic, which usually is related to the film. But this time we're
because it's the beginning of the year and the Oscar nominations just came out, we're going to
looking back on 2018.
Looking back on 2018 and then talk about the Oscar nominees a little bit.
Not so fondly, or whatever, maybe. And then we wrap it up with a movie game, and we'll explain
the movie game when we get to that.
But if you're here for the first time, and if you've been here previously, we'd like to remind you that we'd love your feedback. Please tweet at us at CinemATL or at my personal account at Badger33.
And mine at Marte_Real1.
And on the IG.
On the IG and Twitter. Yeah, absolutely.
The IG. And then, comment on Facebook or
share the podcast. Share the podcast.
Share it. Yep. Anywhere you listen to this, we'd love to hear your comments too.
And Georgia filmmakers, we want to hear about your projects. So definitely get at us with details about your projects.
Yes. And then also, just so you know, it's raining right now. So you might hear some thunderstorms occasionally.
The pitter-patter of little rain. Big rain, really.
So, yes, we neither sleet nor hail nor rainy night will keep us from our appointed podcast grounds.
No, just procrastination.
All right, so why don't we just jump into some industry news?
Absolutely.
All right. Industry news.
Yeah, so industry news, we usually talk about stuff that's in release that has been shot in Georgia or Atlanta area. And then after that, we'll talk about what's being filmed right now.
Yep, and so out now, there's a new TV show that premiered on Fox right after the New Year called The Passage.
I heard it's doing pretty well, too.
Yeah, we talked about it when it was filming earlier, but it stars Paul Gosselaar. You might remember from Saved by the Bell.
Saved by the Bell.
But he's a little bit different now.
What was his other TBS show? Do you remember that one? Like two names. It was like him and your boy.
Bash something.
Something and Bash. Turner and Bash.
Franklin and Bash. I think
yes.
Something like that. Anyway, this is this TV show is sci-fi. It's about vampires, but not really vampires.
Yeah, they don't call them vampires,
right? Vampires. It's actually, I rewatched. I saw the pilot way back in May, but I rewatched it when it premiered, and I actually enjoyed it more this time around than I did when I first saw it. But it looks like it seems promising. It seems like a promising show.
I need to tune in.
Yeah, check it out. DVR it. Watch it on demand.
Nice.
And then in the film realm of films, coming soon.
Yeah, there's a new Will Packer production starring Taraji P. Henson of Empire fame and many other movies, called What Men Want. And it opens, I believe, February 9th? Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know the exact date, but yeah, it's right around the corner.
Mm-hmm. And it's a remake of the famous Mel Gibson movie, What Women Want.
What Women Want, yes.
So it should be interesting.
It has a lot of good stars in it. It has good Tracy Morgan.
Oh, Tracy Morgan. Yeah.
And some other people in it. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I was like, that's got a pretty good cast. So
yeah, it's a funny cast, it seems like.
And then 2 movies that are one was in theaters. It might still be in theaters, but it's recently premiered on demand. Is Boy Erased?
Yeah, Boy Erased was one of the we'll talk about it later. Didn't actually garner much award notice, but it seemed like one of those award movies.
Yeah.
Stars Russell Crowe, Nicole Kidman, and Lucas Hedges, who's ubiquitous these days.
Who also didn't get. Did he get nominated for something?
No,
I don't think he did.
Not. And he's
been
in 100 movies this year,
and they're all like good, like all like nominated type, right. Award stuff.
But that was shot here in Atlanta as well.
And then on Netflix, there's a movie called Dumplin', which we mentioned back when it was filming.
Exactly.
I know a few people that work on that, but it's a comedy starring Jennifer Aniston. It's about a beauty pageant.
And wasn't that Miguel Arteta as the director, correct? I think when we reported on it, that's I don't.
If you say so.
I think that's correct.
I don't know.
The director of Chuck and Buck, if you remember.
Yeah, we did talk about that, yes. But yes, you could IMDb that and find out for sure if you want to.
If you want to.
To verify. And yeah, if we're wrong, comment.
Yeah, call us on
it. If that's the only comments we can get is you telling us we're wrong.
We don't care. We'll take it.
We'll take it. And so that's pretty much what's around the corner and what's out now. It's a little lighter schedule than we've had recently. So,
yes.
But there's plenty of stuff on the horizon.
Yeah, it's early in the year too, so we'll see when it picks up.
There's a little Marvel movie coming out in like end of May, April.
A little one. Very little. Blink and you'll miss it, I think.
So filming now, though, as far as movies go, the Jumanji sequel just started shooting just this weekend, actually.
Who did they add to the cast? I know they added somebody promising to the cast, and I'm forgetting who it was off the top of my head. But, of course, Dwayne Johnson will be back, and Kevin Hart, and back in their favorite second city, which is Atlanta.
And
did we talk about that already?
What?
The other one duo that's in town filming a sequel.
No.
I think we didn't have time to talk about it.
I don't know what you're talking about, so maybe
I thought we maybe.
We'll just let it out there.
Bad Boys 3. Right?
Oh yeah, we did talk about it.
We talked about it briefly, but they are actually filming it now. It's like day 7.
Yes. So yeah, and then we also have a movie called Fear Street. It's a horror film, and we don't know much more.
Yeah, I don't know much more about it other than Fear Street.
We could take guesses, but last time we guessed about something, it was The House with a Clock on its walls, and we thought it was going to be some violent, gory film.
We thought it would be like torture porn, and it ended up being a family-oriented scare fest.
Yes. And then as far as TV shows,
there's another DC show, correct?
Yeah.
DC's filming a few shows here now.
And DC. This is on the DC. What do they call it? The DC Universe streaming platform.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So Stargirl is the.
And I'm not familiar at all with the title. I obviously, not being the comic person, I don't really know much about this.
I'm a Marvel guy, so I don't really know either. But apparently, this is going to feature Luke Wilson.
Yeah, Luke Wilson is part of the cast.
And
which I'm a big fan of Luke Wilson. I like Luke Wilson.
And then Doom Patrol we talked about before.
Correct.
That I think that wrapped up its season shoot. Apparently, it's done so well that they're probably going to bring it back.
Yeah.
They're ordering another season. So if you have the streaming platform, I don't know how you get it.
Yeah, how do you get it?
I think it's online. I think you can just get it on your computer, but I don't know if there's any other support. Maybe PlayStation might have it. I don't know.
Could you maybe get it on your Amazon Fire or something like that? Is it because they let you go to other platforms?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because I've seen
Comcast is
I've seen you can do CBS from there and stuff like that.
I was told that they're not doing the app integration
yet.
Really? I think they're just trying to do their own thing.
Interesting. Okay.
So I don't think so, but you can look. But yeah, I just Google it.
Yeah, I mean,
we're so helpful.
DC's pretty big.
We're so helpful
you
here.
think they'd be accessible, so Google it.
Google it. Just Google it. It's going to be your answer to everything. You want to know what's filming? Just Google it.
Yeah, that'll make our segment a little bit shorter.
And then two other shows that are filming now. I don't know if we mentioned this before, but we have mentioned the original first season, Cobra Kai. They're shooting another season, season 2. So we're looking forward to that. It's the first season was really good. And then one I'm looking forward to is the reboot of Amazing Stories, which I don't know. I thought some people might not be old enough to remember, but back in the early 80s, I want to say mid 80s, there was it was an anthology series by Steven Spielberg, and it had some really cool stories in it. And they were all like fantastical, almost like pulp. They built it around like a pulp novel thing, but it was like a fantastical stories.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too, for sure.
I remember the one about the it was like a World War II one where the airplane was trying to land, but there's the landing gear got stuck.
Yes.
And the guy was stuck in the cockpit under below, and he was going to get crushed if they tried to land. But he was a comic book artist, and like this magical cartoon wheel. It was a really cool story.
That was cool.
I gave it away, but spoiler alert for a show.
If they remake that, then you'll know what's going to happen.
Spoiler alert from a show from the 80s, but yeah. And then
I wanted to talk about really quickly. Two Atlanta shows that we've talked about many a time. Of course, they're staples, but they're staples for a reason, because they're the most in-demand shows in the world. And that's The Walking Dead, which is not a big surprise, and Stranger Things, which is not really a big surprise, but at the same time, it's a younger show than Walking Dead.
Who determined that it's the most
NAPT, the recent convention at NAPT, that was where they put the announcement out about those, which basically means they're the show that every other country in the world wants to see, and so they would
like other countries license
they license those shows.
Films,
they're the most in-demand show, which they're both shot here in Atlanta.
Well, it just means we're number one.
We're number one still.
We're number one. And then just this is coming down the horizon, but the Atlanta Film Festival is coming out in April 4th through the 14th.
Right. And never too early to talk about it, because sometimes we let it sneak up on us, and we forget, and like we'll be saying a podcast, and the festival starts like the next day.
Yeah. So
and we don't know when you listen to this. Who knows?
Yes. Heads up. And just a reminder, if you're interested in working on any productions or learning more about them, go to the Georgia Help Wanted Help hotline at georgia.org, and you'll get all the information you need.
Absolutely.
Well, great. Time to do our top three.
Top three.
All right, the top three in honor of the Oscars.
Right. So today's top three is the top 3 Oscar snubs.
And these are movies that didn't get nominated.
Correct.
For Best Picture. They might have got nominated for some other award.
Not a case of like Saving Private Ryan, or something like that. Not even that. It's these are.
They didn't even get a Best Picture nomination.
They didn't even get a Best Picture nomination, and also, if you haven't looked at our top 10 before, you haven't tuned in for our top three. Sorry. Remember, this is our opinion. Yes. So this is just us. This is not some sort of like study. We haven't done a study. This is just our opinion.
Yes, this is just our favorite films that were not nominated for Oscars. So,
correct. Yes.
Starting off, I've got some honorable mentions.
Okay, I got a tie, so maybe I should call them honorable mentions, and I really only have a top 2.
No, just do your tie. Okay. I'll give my honorable mentions first.
Good.
Okay. My 2 honorable mentions are Do the Right Thing.
Okay.
And the Lego Movie, more not because it's the Best Picture, but because it didn't even get a animated picture nomination, which is crazy. Because it was
clearly
everybody thought it was the best animated film that year. So the fact that it didn't even get nominated is crazy.
That's good. That's good honorable mentions.
All right. So top 3. So number 3. You've got a tie. So why don't you give one of your ties?
Well, I've got
you got a tie.
3-way tie.
Okay.
and it's representative. This is my top two are really important to talk about, but my top the number 3 slot, I'm going to 3 different eras, right?
Okay.
And they do tie into sort of the current. So basically, the top 3 are from the 80s, Blade Runner.
Tied for 3.
Yeah, Blade Runner.
Tied for 3. Okay, Blade Runner.
Then Dark Knight.
Dark Knight, yeah.
And then Crazy Rich Asians. And
okay.
That's current. And so the reason these, we'll get into more detail, but that's my top. That's my number 3. That's my 3 tie.
Okay. My number 3 is Rushmore.
Okay. Whoa. Okay. Interesting. Because I like Rushmore, but then again, I don't know that it was ever really thought of having an opportunity to be.
We'll talk about it.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Okay.
Number 2.
Number 2, and this was tough. Between 1 and 2, these are both really, I take personally, both of these. But I'm going to go number 2, Hoop Dreams.
Okay.
And this is relevant for this year's Oscars, too.
Was that nominated for documentary even?
No, it wasn't even nominated for documentary. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one. I
didn't really expect it for Best Picture, but it wasn't even nominated for Best Documentary. And it's one of the best documentaries ever, basically.
My number 2 is WALL-E.
Okay.
It was nominated for animated picture, but the fact that it didn't get nominated for Best Picture that year, I thought it really deserved to be nominated for.
Was that an expanded year?
Yes.
So yeah, if it didn't make it in an expanded year, that's crazy. I agree with you there.
And then number 1.
Number 1, use one of your honorable mentions is Do the Right Thing.
Okay.
And so we'll talk
Obviously,
about that
I agree with you. And then number 1 for me is Rear Window.
Okay. Wow. I did not realize that wasn't nominated.
No. A lot of Hitchcock movies weren't nominated. Psycho wasn't nominated. Wow. North by Northwest wasn't nominated.
I could see Psycho. I could see Psycho. Maybe not.
Yeah.
But man,
but for me, it's Rear Window.
Good Lord.
So let's talk about these. We've gone through them.
Yeah.
So why don't you discuss your tie for 3rd?
Well, here's the thing. Blade Runner was kind of a breakthrough movie at the time. It was a serious movie, but it was sci-fi, and I think back in the 80s, it was taboo that you weren't really gonna get consideration for a genre movie.
There's another movie that you could throw in that bucket too, is Alien.
Absolutely, Alien as well.
And especially because considering Star Wars did get a nomination in like 77.
Yeah.
So you thought that maybe they would start,
But they went right back to sort of that
no genre
pictures.
Which has been that way for ever now.
And then that takes us to Dark Knight, which was superhero movie, the first superhero movie that really should have probably been considered as a Best Picture.
I almost put that on my list.
And yet it wasn't. And now, obviously, this year, you got your first superhero movie nomination with Black Panther, which, is it really better than Dark Knight? I don't know. I don't know. Is it even better than some of the other movies recently that didn't get nominated, right?
Yeah. I think the cultural impact of it probably helps it in that case.
Cultural impact, which brings me to Crazy Rich Asians. Yeah. And Crazy Rich Asians probably back in the day is not a Best Picture nominee.
Yeah.
But when you can nominate up to 10, if there can be up to 10 Best Picture nominations, the cultural impact of Crazy Rich Asians is kind of on par and a little bit like a B, takes a slight back seat to Black Panther.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's certainly an underrepresented community that's finally represented with a really quality picture.
Yeah.
It probably should have been nominated this year.
Considering that,
and Michelle Yeoh should have been nominated as Best Supporting Actress.
It's a down year. It's for pictures anyway.
I agree. So we'll talk about the weak year later, but I agree that in a year like this with an expanded field, should have been nominated.
All right, we gotta keep rolling. My number 3, Rushmore. I felt that Rushmore was really groundbreaking for Wes Anderson. It was his first big film, and I thought that if any film should get nominated for Wes Anderson, it would be Rushmore because it was unique for him at the time. A lot of stuff he does now is fairly, Wes Anderson paint by numbers.
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I love Wes Anderson.
Right.
But it's, he's got a style, and this is like the first start of his style. Like Bottle Rocket wasn't really this style. It was,
which I prefer. I prefer that one, but okay.
But so, and I thought Rushmore was such a great, inventive movie at the time, and this goes back to I guess at the time they were only nominating 5 Best Picture nominees, so it probably had no shot. But in my mind, and just based off a movie that I really, really enjoy and that I really thought was semi-groundbreaking. I thought it should have.
No, I totally think it would be in today's day and age if a movie like that, in similar would probably get nominated. A lot like Greta Gerwig's movie got nominated.
Yeah, and we talk about like a lot of themes that go through. It's not an Oscar movie, right? It's not epic.
Right.
It's not and the fact that Wes Anderson normally gets relegated to screenplays, and that's where they get their award. That's where you give Tarantino his award, that type of thing. So, all right, number 2.
So, Hoop Dreams. Now, Hoop Dreams is a famous documentary. I don't know if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It follows 2 young high school basketball prospects, and follows them for at least a year, maybe a little more than a year, actually, and delves into their family life and their struggles to try and become, college basketball players and be recruited. And it is very moving, very effective, very amazing documentary.
It's definitely one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. The fact if it didn't get
and it wasn't
even
nominated.
Roger Ebert claimed that it was one of his favorite films.
Absolutely, it was one of his favorite films of all time.
Just in general, not even documentaries, just for films.
And that was when I noticed, and that the Oscars sometimes there's something not quite fair about them. I think because especially in those kind of categories, because it's a smaller group that votes on them.
Yeah.
And so this year, I think there's a very similar situation in Won't You Be My Neighbor, which was a fantastic documentary, is not nominated in the documentary category. And even, 3 Identical Strangers isn't. And those are both fantastic documentaries.
Yeah.
And so why are they not recognized?
Don't know.
But Hoop Dreams was even worse.
Dreams is great.
Even worse.
So for me, number 2, WALL-E. Once again, I felt this was like a very... If any Pixar movie deserved to get nominated for the Best Picture, I thought WALL-E should, because of just the beauty of it, the fact that they can tell a story without talking for the first 40 minutes of the film or whatever it is, and then the statement it makes about society. WALL-E's my absolute it is my absolute favorite animated film of all time, and there's been talk of other animated films getting nominated, like Inside Out got nominated. I thought WALL-E was much better than Inside Out.
I agree with that. I agree with that for sure.
And I want to make sure we have time. So top number 1,
Do the Right Thing. And Do the Right Thing was robbed at Cannes, and then it was robbed by not even being nominated for the Oscars. Do the Right Thing is one of the finest, well, certainly Spike Lee's masterpiece, and also which he's nominated this year for a movie that's not even close.
This is the first time he's been nominated.
This is the first time he's been nominated for Best Director, and also the film's been nominated for the first time. Well, actually, I think Malcolm X was nominated. But point is, he's nominated for this film, and this film, Black Klansman, which is a okay film. It's decent. It's good. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I act like it's nothing. But Do the Right Thing not being nominated, that is a travesty.
And then once again, we go back to there was only 5 slots back then.
Correct.
But I think even if you look at what was, because I looked at this film too, and what was being nominated there, this blows those away.
Right.
So it should have been. It definitely.
It was one of the most powerful films, in that year.
And then finally, for me, Rear Window. Like I said, it's weird that a lot of Hitchcock films were not nominated. But as far as for what I enjoy from a Hitchcock film, like Rear Window, there's something about the way he tells the story and that just like basically one location, but the set design of it's like crazy. It got nominated for a bunch of things. He got nominated for director and screenplay and all that stuff, but it didn't get a nomination for Best Picture. So
that's
it's like,
crazy.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even realize that because I really just like the ones that they came to me quickly, and I didn't really do a lot of research on it. I would have probably agree with you that it should have been nominated, and I don't even know what the competition was that year.
All right, well, that wraps up the top 3. Let's.
Do you agree with us?
Yeah.
Or are we crazy?
Let us know. Let's go and review Glass, okay?
All right. All right, so our big review this month is Glass, which is a M. Night Shyamalan film starring Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, and James McAvoy.
And what's her name?
I forget her name. Sarah Paulson.
Sarah Paulson.
My bad.
Google it.
And Anya Taylor's Thompson, something like that.
What?
What's Anya, the girl from Split?
Split. Well, yeah, and then the
She's
kid,
fantastic
and the kid
too.
from Unbreakable.
Yeah.
And
that was a surprise too.
Yeah.
That was actually him.
For those of you that haven't heard, what's this Glass thing all about? It's the semi-sequel to both Unbreakable and Split. When Split came out, it seemed like unrelated to Unbreakable, but at the very end, the twist, one of the twists at the end,
right,
was that this exists in the same world as Unbreakable.
In a way, though, M. Night Shyamalan actually does a lot of his movies in his universe of Philadelphia. So he has he's had a cinematic universe in his mind a little bit for the most part, because I think even The Village takes place in Pennsylvania somewhere, but
just because they take place in Philadelphia doesn't mean they take place in the same
universe. I'm just saying, I feel like he intentionally lets his universe, just like Kevin Smith, like his universe is there even if they're not really directly related.
Yeah, but this is directly related.
This is absolutely.
This is basically a sequel to Unbreakable with Split character thrown in, basically.
Yes.
What did you think about this film?
M. Night is such a divisive figure these days, or he's actually come back strong, sort of successfully at the box office, and and sort of in vogue again. I thought it was okay. I thought the movie was okay. I really liked James McAvoy. James McAvoy made the movie for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that. His character is definitely. Or just his acting performance,
right?
Not necessarily the character, but just the fact that he can turn on and off these.
Oh my goodness,
different
is very
split
impressive.
Personalities.
Absolutely,
it is an acting tour de force. But continuing on, overall, there are parts of this movie that I really, really liked, and then there are parts of it that so for me it kind of falls apart at the end, which I think is a lot of people's complaints about it. We can't really, without spoiling anything, I can't really tell you exactly why.
We'll just say it's an M. Night Shyamalan film.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're not spoiling anything by saying there's twist, at the end. Like every
you get
Shyamalan's got a twist.
Yeah, exactly.
The twist is what ruins it for me.
Yeah, I agree.
It doesn't exactly ruin it for me, but it just doesn't make it as good to me.
Yeah, it just feels like once you get wind of the twist itself, you sort of say, oh, really?
It's not the twist as much that bothers me. It's actually the end of the film and what happens to the characters at the end of the film.
Yeah.
That's what actually bothers me more than the twist itself. The twist that they reveal, if the characters, I don't want to give away too much. But
it's hard to talk about it. But yes.
Yeah, that's my thing. But some of the things and I think M. Night Shyamalan's a very frustrating filmmaker, and the fact that he does some stuff that's so good, and then he does some stuff that's bad. So for me, watching this movie, there's times in it I'm like, wow, that shot's really cool. Like, this filmmaking shot's really cool. I like how he did this. But then it just goes to excess. Like, some of the shots that he pulls off. Like, some of these like mounted cameras in the fight scenes where it's like mounted to Bruce Willis and you see it from, which is cool for a while, but then it's like, how much are you going to show off your filmmaking prowess, right?
Yeah, instead of like, let's just like use a cool shot and then get back to telling the story.
And it wasn't, the shots weren't there to drive the story. They were there to be cool shots. Exactly. More. That's what it felt like to me.
I agree.
But there was like some of it that was just beautiful, and I did like really enjoy it. Like I thought that he had kind of grown as a filmmaker a little bit. I mean, I went back and watched Unbreakable after I watched Glass.
Okay.
Because I had realized that I had not remembered a lot of what happened in Unbreakable.
Right.
And I realized that there was some of that stuff, some of those techniques were in Unbreakable, so he's following that same style. But to me, I think he took it a little too overboard. But I see him growing. I see his growth as a director and being able to come up with creative shots and things like that. But in a way, I think he's gotten too fancy and has taken a step back from being able to tell the story in a way that it's not.
I think so too.
Distracting.
But I have to commend. I really do. I did like a lot about the movie too. I agree with you. It just didn't come together all the way for me.
Yeah.
Especially toward the end. But I mentioned James McAvoy being great, but Samuel Jackson was awesome too. Like especially early on when he had to play the state of mind he was in.
Yeah.
That was really good and really impressive, actually.
Yeah.
And I liked the fact that the kid, the actual son who played the David character's son, which is Bruce Willis's character, was the same actor.
Spencer Treat.
Yes, and he was also in Gladiator too. A lot of people may remember him from that.
He's actually done some other acting roles. He was actually on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. last year.
Right, yeah, he's done a lot of television lately. Yeah. And I didn't recognize him, but then I was like, that is him. Like that was good to see that they didn't just cast somebody else.
I'm glad they. Yeah, for that reason, I'm glad they did. But he doesn't feel right in the role to me.
I don't know.
It seems weird to me.
I thought that was good too. The setup of him and
I like the fact that they used the same kid.
I did too.
Not the kid anymore.
I like that a lot.
But to me, he's not the same quality of actor as everybody else in the film. So it kind of distracted to me. Either.
I mean, you're probably right because almost everybody else in the film are fantastic. Even Anya, I can't say her last name. She's awesome. I like her a lot, actually. So you're probably right. Out of the whole cast, he's the weakest link. But
actually, out of the whole cast, the weakest link is M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, but he only had a cameo, thankfully.
Yeah, it's not like he put himself in it. Like the lady in
the water. Oh my gosh! Yes. And the scene that he was in was actually funny though. That was pretty funny when Bruce Willis was asking to go for a walk, asking his son if he could go for a walk. That was a pretty funny scene.
Yeah. So what else was I going to say? One of the things that bugged me about the split side of things is that the actress, I can't remember her name's Casey in the film. I just didn't buy her relationship with him.
And I don't even remember them actually. I mean, I remember Split, and they had a moment, but was it strong enough to have that relationship later?
That was another thing that bugged me about it.
I agree with that part.
And especially because in the movie, when they're setting it up, they say that this is only like 3 weeks after those events.
I know. I thought that was a mistake, that it was way too close.
The fact that, you get some of that, what do they call that? When the hostage falls for their captor.
Munchausen syndrome, right?
Munchausen is something different.
It's something like that.
It was like that.
Nightingale syndrome?
Google it.
Like that. Just Google it.
That, I mean, I can understand that, but it wasn't built into Split. And
Helsinki syndrome. Something like that.
I don't think so. And then the fact that it takes place so close to those events happening, I don't think that
Stockholm syndrome. Sorry.
Yes.
I agree.
So
it was way too
felt convenient.
I thought that was a little, and her to be over it that soon. I would not believe that. Yeah.
I mean, that could have been simply done away with by saying this is a year later.
Absolutely. Yeah, something like that.
A long time later, 3 years later. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 3 years may have been too long, but yeah, I mean, I agree. It needed to be more than 3 weeks. I totally agree with that part.
But yeah, so I think, overall to me, there's a lot of good things about it. If you like the universe, Unbreakable set in and Split set in, I think, I don't think you would hate this movie.
No.
The ending might be controversial to you, but
yeah, I don't think anybody would hate this movie. I don't really understand why. I think it's because M. Night is such a divisive figure that he still is sort of hated on.
He gets a lot of hate for just bad
being
movies.
him. Well, yeah, he's had some really awful movies. That's no doubt about it.
The Happening is like one of the worst movies.
But you gotta let it go. Yeah, it's one of the
But even The Happening has some quality stuff in it.
I don't know.
If you watch the beginning of The Happening and turn it off after 10 minutes, you might be satisfied.
Well, you know what? That's probably correct.
That's the thing that's so frustrating about M. Night Shyamalan. It's like,
I mean, he's a talented guy. He's very talented.
Yeah.
As a filmmaker,
I think he gets in his own way, though. I think
he gets in his own way,
and I think his ego is more. And I don't know this.
I mean, it may not be his ego, but it's just.
But it seems like this to me. Like
his vision is too cute for its own good.
Yeah, and I've heard that he's very particular about things, and it just seems like he's very ego driven. Not that that's a horrible thing to be ego driven. I think a lot of times people could use more confidence in themselves.
Absolutely. There's a fine line though between confidence and ego mania, basically.
Not to say he's egomaniac,
but exactly.
The fact that he has to put himself in every film kind of says a little bit about that.
It does say a little bit.
About to run out of time, so just to wrap it up, I would give this movie probably a C+.
Yeah, it's about
right.
There. About right, C+ probably.
And
you could do worse.
Yeah, you can. You can Google it and find out what you can do to get worse. So that's it for the big movie review.
Yeah, so now we'll go to the technique topic.
All right. All right, so technique topic, which is not really much of a technique topic.
Yeah, it doesn't have much to do with Glass, for sure, because I don't suspect that Glass is going to be nominated next year.
What?
I don't suspect that.
Maybe James McAvoy can get nominated for acting.
I think he'll be forgotten by then.
Too early in the year.
Yeah. But so we're going to talk about the Oscar nominations, a few of them, not all of them, and then talk about just our take on them, and probably since this is not encompassing what we probably think the best films are of the year, so we might want to just give that opinion too, or we'll just say maybe what should be on this list, right?
Sure.
So you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We can talk about just to qualify though. Out of the Best Picture nominees, I've only seen 3 of them, and Martin, you've seen all of them.
I've seen all of them.
So take my thoughts with a grain of salt, and then believe what Martin has to say,
or don't. You don't have to.
So for Best Picture, the nominees are Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Room, Roma, A Star Is Born, and Vice.
Yes. So which ones have you seen?
I've seen Black Panther, of course, Bohemian Rhapsody, and Vice.
And of those 3, what's your favorite? Which one is the best of those 3?
My favorite's actually Bohemian Rhapsody.
And that's a great movie, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of shocked me that people were shocked that it won the Golden Globe.
Right.
And I was surprised that it won the Golden Globe because I know a lot of the negative feedback that it's gotten from certain groups.
Really? I know. Yes. Yeah.
So, okay. But it seems to have found an audience. I mean, to me, it's like as a fan of Queen, it's a great movie for me because I just like Queen and I liked the story. I thought it was well done. Rami Malek, of course, I think should.
He was
be,
fantastic.
and I even said that when I reviewed it. That if he didn't get a nomination, that it would be
luckily he did.
Crime.
Yeah,
and he won the Golden Globe, which is great. So, and I'm hoping he can win the Oscar as well because I like him from Mr. Robot and other stuff. He's just a really good actor.
I like him from Night in the Museum.
But yeah, I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody has its detractors because of course, the whole Bryan Singer thing.
Yeah, which is boiling now even more.
And then there's some consternation from the gay community who thinks it doesn't exactly,
go far enough with the portrayal, right?
Well, I think they feel that it portrayed negatively that he's gay, like the fact that a lot of the other gay characters are
sure.
the bad guys, and his life would be okay if he just wasn't gay. That's the way some people interpret it.
I don't know.
I personally don't. I'm not gay, so I can't really say that that's an invalid opinion. But to me,
right,
as somebody who doesn't, that doesn't really impact me as much as a gay individual it would. Right. I didn't think to me personally, I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel it was portrayed that way. I feel that's more people reading into it. But like I said, I can't say that's I can't tell somebody what to think, right? But in my opinion, I just thought it was a really good movie.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good movie, and of course, being a fan of the music of Queen, I was fascinated to see sort of some of the behind the scenes of how the band worked.
Well, another detriment to it is also, as a lot of people say, well, it's not accurate. And we talked about this when we talked about First Man.
Right.
There's a movie that was totally accurate, and it was boring.
And it got, did not make it got a couple of nominations, but not Best Picture.
So I mean, in my opinion, I like Bohemian Rhapsody. So what is your favorite?
My favorite is actually, of this list, is A Star Is Born.
And I've heard great things about Star Is Born. I want to see it. I just haven't seen it.
And it's just it's sort of in the same vein of Bohemian Rhapsody, but it sort of speaks to someone. I mean, I think you would like it, and I tell everybody who's a creative that they will like it because it speaks to you. This kind of movie speaks to someone who is creative and wants to be an artist and wants to be true to their art. This movie has that, right? And even though it's a familiar, story, people kind of know what the story is. Yeah, it's just really well done. It's just really well done.
No, I've heard great things about it. My wife really loved it, and I've heard a lot of people that said they really loved it.
But Green Book is a fantastic movie too. Yeah, Green Book is a very good movie.
And yet again, Green Book is getting a lot of detractors for some of the same reasons like Bohemian Rhapsody. The fact that they don't feel it's accurate, or they don't feel it portrays, the race correctly, and sometimes I wonder if we just put too much into our.
I wonder, what kind of expectation do we have of movies, right? Yeah. Movies used to be about storytelling, and I don't think there's anything wrong with this story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it depends on how you view it. I think it's always viewed through the lens of whoever's watching it. So, I think people are expecting more of agenda from some of these movies now.
I think people want their agenda to be portrayed, and that's how they view it. And if it's not, then it's bad. So,
So like the other movies I've seen, like we talk about Black Panther. It was an enjoyable movie. I don't know if it's Best Picture
it's
quality.
A good movie.
Vice is the other one I saw, and while I think Christian Bale is great in that role, I just didn't find the movie to be wholly entertaining.
I found it to be entertaining.
It's entertaining,
but in a different way. But I do agree that Christian Bale's fantastic, and Amy Adams is fantastic, and Sam Rockwell, even though he's got very limited screen time, is fantastic.
But it's not a comedy.
It is a comedy.
It's not a comedy.
It is a comedy. It's written as a comedy.
It's not a comedy.
It's totally a comedy.
There's funny stuff in it. To me, it's not a comedy.
It's Adam McKay writing a comedy, trying to sort of he's got his point of view, but he uses comedy to help sort of advance his point.
I would call Big Short a comedy, but I would not call this a comedy.
Really,
personally,
it's very similar.
There's there's comedic stuff in it, but to me,
he's trying to recapture.
And it could be due to marketing. The way they marketed it, it was flat out comedy.
Yes, it's not as funny as the trailer.
Yeah.
But it's still a comedy, I believe.
So, this could be the fault of the marketing. To me, I go in expecting one thing and get another thing. Not that I can deal with that, but overall, I just didn't like the movie. I didn't hate the movie. I just didn't. I came out of it feeling like I don't know if I like this movie or not. There's stuff in it I liked, but I didn't really.
Right. No, I agree.
I thought it was a little. The best part to me at the end was when they were doing the focus group. And I'm talking about, wait a second, this is a liberal it's like, yeah. It says a lot about just again, bringing agenda to a film.
Right. No, and I think it's a fine movie. What was left off this list, in your opinion?
I don't think I've seen enough to really say something could have been left off.
I have a couple of things that I think.
I mean, Crazy Rich Asians, yes, I think that probably was left off. I did enjoy Crazy Rich Asians a lot, and I agree with you. I think it's great to see a film that's finally embracing a culture that's not usually represented
in the mainstream. Yeah, exactly. So I agree with that. And then I think there's a movie that I really enjoyed that has sort of got lost is called White Boy Rick, and I thought that was a good movie. It's probably as good as some of these movies.
I mean, I think there's a lot of that this year. That I don't think there's anything that's just like blowing people away this year. I think it's kind of a weak year for the Best Picture category in general. I agree. It's really because
hard
there's like
to see.
Several I haven't seen all these movies, but I've heard of like a lot of these movies, and they all were like considered to be contenders at some point. But it's just that nothing ever like just rose above.
Now, one I think is the dark horse is The Favorite.
Yeah,
because The Favorite is Have you seen that?
I've not seen that.
It's a unique movie. It's really good, actually. Yeah. It's really good, and it even though it's not my personal favorite. I could see it winning, and justifiably so, just because it's very unique, and of course it's a period piece, and it's based on real history, but yet they play with it a lot like Vice does. You know what I mean? It's a lot, in a way, Vice is doing what The Favorite is doing, even though The Favorite is a little more outlandish, and is way more of a comedy than Vice, in a sense. And fantastic performances all around on that one. Which is strange because I've hated the guy's other movies.
Yeah.
He did the lobster
and Killing the Sacred Deer.
Yes, which I hate both of them.
So what are your favorites out of the actresses and actor roles?
Well, my favorite performance is probably Lady Gaga. But Yalitza Aparicio from Roma, she is amazing in the movie. Yeah. I would not be surprised. She probably ought to win this. And Olivia Colman in The Favorite is really good too.
Did you see The Wife? Because Glenn Close won a Golden Globe for that.
I did not see The Wife, and I did not even see the Melissa McCarthy movie, even though I wanted to.
Yeah. What about the actor?
My opinion, Christian Bale probably does the best job, or Rami Malek. Viggo is fine, but I don't think it's his best work.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down between Christian Bale and Rami Malek.
And I think Rami Malek's going to take it, just because it was more...
I hope so. I really loved him in that role. I mean, he just embodied the character.
Exactly. I think he even is as well as Christian Bale embodied the character. Rami does even better.
I think a lot of what Christian Bale... he does a great job embodying character, but a lot of that is also due to makeup and effects.
Absolutely.
Whereas Rami Malek doesn't really have that benefit.
True.
So...
And then the best supporting actor is, again, I think I have a soft spot for Adam Driver because he's really good in the movie, and I like him in the Star Wars. So, I really like Adam Driver. So I like him. He's probably not going to win. Mahershala does a fantastic job in Green Book, so I would not be sad to see Mahershala Ali win a second supporting actor Oscar.
All right, so for supporting actress, what do you think?
Supporting actress is a little bit harder because it's even better. The field is even better. Regina King is very, very good in If Beale Street Can Talk.
Yeah.
But Emma Stone is awesome. And, of course, Emma Stone is one of the favorites pretty much now. She's sort of a ubiquitous favorite these days. So I think she would be hard to beat.
Do you think that to split that vote since Rachel Weisz is nominated for the same movie?
I do think that because they're nominated for the same movie. And so people who love The Favorite, they're either going to pick Rachel Weisz or they're going to pick Emma Stone. So it could pave the way for Regina King to win. And she's fantastic. So, and again, Amy Adams is really good too. So it's not like, anybody... I think this one's the one where anybody could win, and it would not be a disappointment at all.
So we talked about snubs earlier. Is there any actors that you felt got snubbed?
Oh,
I haven't seen it, but I've heard great things about Ethan Hawke in First Reformed.
And I mean to see that very soon. I've heard that too, and I was a little surprised that he didn't. But again, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I don't know for sure. Other than that, I don't know. I think maybe Timothy Chalamet was somebody who may have been snubbed, but I don't know. I did see the film, and he does a good job, but I don't know that he does any better than any of the nominees.
We'll talk about Lucas Hedges and any of his.
And Lucas Hedges is a fantastic actor, but he may have spread himself too thin.
Yeah,
I've seen Bennett's Back, which he's really good.
Back. He's in
Boy Erased. And he's in one other movie that I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. But
and they're all similar.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they're not all. I mean, similar, but
they're all in a way that.
But they're all serious movies, and they were all positioned to be awards based. Yeah. Now, one snub I hear about, and I don't know. I've seen the trailer only, and she won the Independent Spirit Award, but apparently the movie was eligible. She was nominated last year for Independent Spirit Award, but apparently the movie was eligible for this year for some. I don't know how. The Rider by
I've heard.
By Chloe
the
Zhao.
Rider got. I heard a lot of people had love for that movie, but
and I haven't seen. I haven't seen it myself, but I'm interested in seeing it.
And then there was that, what was it, 8th grade, the girl that was in 8th grade was supposed to have been a really solid performance as well.
Correct.
All right, so for director, we have Spike Lee for BlacKkKlansman, Pawlowski for Cold War, Yorgos Lanthimos for The Favorite, the lobster guy for The Favorite, Alfonso Cuarón for Roma, and Adam McKay for Vice. So.
Yeah. And on this one, there's been some talk about Bradley Cooper being a snub, which I would agree with, because I think that's one of the best movies of the year, Star is Born. And there is a long tradition of actors directing and getting a nomination. Like, for instance, Clint Eastwood has been nominated many times. And then, obviously, Kevin Costner back in the day for Dances with Wolves. Well-deserved, in my opinion. But the good part of this category, to me, is Spike Lee getting his first nomination as Best Director. I don't think this is his best work, but it's good that he got nominated.
I mean, to me, it looks like another Alfonso Cuarón win.
Probably,
Which would be like 3 straight, right? For him?
It will be his 3 out of 3 for him.
Yeah. It just sets itself up that way, unless there's Spike Lee gets the more of like a
because he's
making
been around,
it up for him,
and
lifetime achievement
kind
award
of thing,
type thing, which I think maybe could be also the reason why Bradley Cooper didn't get nominated, was because this is your first film. Hold on, you'll get your chance.
Slow down,
young buck.
That could be true. I think it's possible, but it would be nice to see Spike Lee win. But it's unfortunate that it's like we discussed before. We both think Do the Right Thing was robbed back in the day, and so he was robbed too at that time. And then he's actually done. To me, BlacKkKlansman is a decent movie, but it's not even his top 5.
Oh no,
you know what I mean?
Well, I haven't seen it, but from what I've heard,
it's a decent movie, but he's done much better.
All right, so since we are both screenwriters, I would like to say that I'm a screenwriter.
You've written scripts. You're a screenwriter. You're an award-winning screenwriter.
I am. ESG award. We haven't had those in
many years. We haven't had many scripts lately.
Anyway. So let's talk about the screenplays. Adapted screenplay, we have The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, BlacKkKlansman, Can You Ever Forgive Me, If Beale Street Could Talk, and A Star is Born. To me, the one that surprised me was The Ballad of Buster Scruggs being on there. What was your opinion of that? Did you watch it?
I didn't see it yet. It's one of the ones on my list.
I tried to watch it, and I just couldn't get through it.
Okay.
But I know there's a lot of love for that.
That just moved a little bit down my list then.
It's my opinion, because I know there's a lot of love for it. Like when it came out, a lot of my filmmaking friends on social media were like, "Oh, you gotta check this out. This is so awesome. This is great." And I'm the Coen Brothers. I'm a big Coen Brothers fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just the way it's just a bunch of short stories, basically.
Oh wow. Okay.
And it just didn't grab me. They didn't really grab me like I thought it would. There was some like the first one is actually kind of cool. And then it kind of, for me, it kind of goes downhill after that. But I didn't finish watching.
Right.
And also, I was watching it. Here's the problem with Netflix, movies that come out on Netflix, is I was watching it late night.
Right.
And I fell asleep halfway through it because it was, it wasn't
Yeah.
keeping my interest. But if I would have seen it in the theater,
yeah,
there's no way I would have fallen asleep.
Right, exactly.
It's just like the fact that it's a passive, much more passive viewing experience.
Well, it's a big year for Netflix too. We didn't even mention the fact that Netflix, if Roma wins, that's huge.
So what do you feel about that adapted screenplay, though? What do you think?
What's funny is I actually think that If Beale Street Can Talk should win, because the fact everyone talks about that novel being hard to translate, and I think it was hard to translate because it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. If Beale Street Can Talk, it certainly isn't. However, there is a really nice movie there, and for him to be able to adapt that in like a non-traditional way, it certainly doesn't feel like a book. You know what I mean? Honestly, what he puts on screen is not a book. So I think he did something with the material that was specific to cinema, which I was impressed with. So I would lean toward that screenplay, even though I think like I said, Star is Born's fine, but it's not. I don't know if it's as good a screenplay as a movie.
Yeah. And then original screenplay, we have The Favorite, First Reformed, Green Book, Roma, and Vice.
First Reformed probably has a good shot, even though I haven't seen it yet, because of the pedigree of the writer of Taxi Driver. He's written many movies, that have. I think he's been nominated before in this category. Vice, I don't know that that's the greatest. Like you said, it doesn't know what it wants to be in some ways. So, I don't know that that's the greatest. What else were we talking about?
Roma, Green Book, The Favorite.
Yeah, I think The Favorite is probably the most original script of this group. I would think it should be out of this group. Even though Green Book's a decent screenplay, but I thought Green Book was based on previous material, but apparently not.
It's based on a story, true story. So.
Yeah, about a Green Book that did exist. But I thought there was
published, though. Was it published?
Well, it was published.
I think it has to be based off of published materials.
Right. I don't know if it was ever published at a publishing house. So
Well, because you could also say that Vice technically isn't original because it's based off of a life story of somebody who's been publicly documented.
Yeah, but like I said, I think Green Book is a good movie. Is it the best script? Probably not. Probably The Favorite is the best script out of this group, in my opinion.
I don't know. Bunch of other words. Let's do animated feature.
Okay.
We have Incredibles 2, Isle of Dogs, Mirai, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
This is funny because most of the time I've seen all the top animated movies. This year, I probably haven't seen some of the favorites. I haven't seen Ralph Breaks the Internet. I haven't seen Spider-Man.
This is where I kind of, because I've got a kid. So
so you've seen them all.
I haven't seen Mirai, which is a Japanese film, but I have seen all the other ones. And my pick would be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay, everyone says that's great. Actually,
just because it's groundbreaking in its animation style.
Okay.
Whereas, Incredibles 2 is a good movie, but it's been done before. It's just a sequel to Isle of Dogs. While I enjoyed it, it's definitely not. It's not as good as Fantastic Mr. Fox, and it's probably one of my least favorite Wes Anderson movies, honestly, even though I did enjoy it. Ralph Breaks the Internet is fun. It's a fun movie, but I wouldn't say there's anything groundbreaking about it. But Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is just really, the way they tell the story, it's like you're watching a comic book come to life.
Cool. Well, I mean, really I've heard great things about it, and then everyone's pushing me to see it, and then, of course, when people push me, I'm like, no. So I haven't seen it yet. Even though I plan to see it, I'll see it. But it's funny that I haven't seen the animated movies except for Isle of Dogs and Mirai, which I like Japanese animation. So I actually secretly hope Mirai pulls out an upset. Unless I see Spider-Man and it turns out to be as good as you and everyone else tells me.
I mean, I just think alone, based on what they did alone in the animation, I think deserves it.
Okay.
Like, the story is, and the story, I like the story as well. Now, my kid, I saw it with my kid and my wife, and my kid loved it as well. And my wife didn't like it at all. So,
what?
I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, and this year it seems a little bit like a harder category than last year. Last year, Coco was the favorite. And, and Coco was fantastic. So there was.
I'm just excited that the Spider-Man movie won the Golden Globe. I'm just excited that it is a favorite to win. Whereas I'm just kind of sick of the Pixar.
Sure, yeah.
Because I mean, while Pixar makes great films, and like I said, WALL-E was one of my snubs. Just because you're a Pixar film doesn't mean you should be nominated.
It's too much of a shoe-in for them, seems like. Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm rooting for the Japanese animation, which I don't think is going to win.
I've heard good things about that, though. I haven't seen it, but I've heard good things about it.
No, it's really good.
So we've already run over our time, so we don't really have much time to talk about much more about the Oscars. Is there anything else that you wanted to is there anything from last year that you enjoyed? Just even if it wasn't not an Oscar type movie.
I thought Ready Player One would get more technical. I mean, it got a couple, didn't it? You got a couple technical.
It got
things.
A visual effects award, I think.
Yeah, I think it maybe could have deserved more than just a couple in the technical fields. I liked that movie a lot, actually. Other than that, I'm always surprised that I don't know more of the songs.
Yeah. And
it's weird because I see so many movies, but I don't remember too many songs. So I do agree that the song from Black Panther and the song from Stars Born, to me, are the favorites, and I enjoy both of them. So
there's a song from Spider-Man that I thought should have got nominated, a Post Malone song.
Okay.
It was really good. It was like a remix, so it might not have been original. So
okay.
But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I won't. That category sort of surprises me that I don't. That more. It used to be something you would know songs from movies, and these days I don't.
Well, they would have soundtrack releases and stuff would come out on CDs.
Not as big.
I think they made it a rule now that some of these. I think the song has to play during the movie; it can't just play during the credits.
Okay, good.
So I think a lot of the songs that were like big songs back in the day were credit songs. Like that was one of the big things. Like I think the Phil Collins one from Tarzan was only in the credits, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I agree with that rule, but it's just weird that music isn't as big a part. It doesn't feel like music from movies crosses over into the mainstream as much as they used to.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. Yeah, I would say even the Stars Born song. I haven't really heard it, but then again, I don't listen to that.
Right.
I don't listen to that type of music, so I probably wouldn't. It's hard. We're so divided in the way we listen to music nowadays with streaming and everything. You end up listening to this. It's kind of it's that echo chamber thing.
Right,
it's like you only get what you want to hear.
I discovered it in the trailer though. It played in the trailer, and then so I've heard it on the radio though because I do switch. I actually don't have satellite radio, so I do switch when I'm in the car to different music stations. Often, so I get to hear it every now and then. And I do like the song a lot. There's flaws with it too, though. I like the song, but there's a little bit of a flaw with the song.
All right, well, that has to wrap it up for us on this.
Yep.
Time for the movie game.
Yes, let's do the movie game.
All right, well, now it's time for the movie game.
All right. Everyone's favorite time.
Everyone's favorite, unless you haven't heard this podcast before. And then, in which case, let's explain it to you. Okay. The movie game is effectively a movie chain. If I name a movie, then Martin would have to name an actor that was in that movie, and then I would have to name another movie that actor was in. That's basically the rules. We play first to two wins. The only other rule is you can't name a movie or actor twice in the same chain.
Right.
Although you can do sequels and prequels and related films, etc., etc. So you could use Unbreakable and Glass if you wanted to.
If you wanted to, yes.
Anyway, so why don't we start out with?
Okay.
Why don't you start us off, Martin?
All right. Let's say. Why don't we say Vice?
All right, Vice. I'm going to go with Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell, Strictly Business.
Oh, man. Strictly Business. I don't even know. This is going to be a quick one.
Serious?
Strictly Business.
Very famous person, isn't it? A debut. She's actually won Best Actress before.
Okay. Emma Stone.
No. Emma Stone was probably not born.
I know.
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry, okay.
That was her big debut.
No idea.
Okay, sorry.
Never.
All right, I went there.
If
quick.
I saw that movie, it's been blocked from my head.
Okay.
I can't even visualize the poster or anything about it.
I mean, the one thing is funny that Sam Rockwell was a tiny role in it, but yeah.
Well, there you go. Thank you so much, Martin. All right.
Okay, sorry.
All right. Well, I'm going to start with another Sam Rockwell movie. I'm going to start with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Okay. Mos Def.
16 Blocks.
Oh, I gotta go with the only sort of one I remember, which is Bruce Willis.
Yeah. Cop Out.
Okay, Cop Out. Let me think. Let me try to get somebody.
Oh no.
Oh, Sean William Scott.
Okay. Super Troopers 2.
Oh gosh, Super Troopers 2. I'm gonna say this is gonna be a mistake, so I better say the one that I can. Okay, Brian Cox.
Okay.
I wanted to say Linda Carter, but
oh my God, I'm drawing blanks on Brian Cox. I mean, I should know. I've seen. Many different movies are flashing through my head, but I can't remember.
You mentioned a movie earlier in the podcast.
And some reason I'm drawing.
Top 3.
It's one of these drawing the blanks on these things. Huh?
Oh my gosh. Are you serious?
I know a movie. I'm trying to draw.
It was in your top 3.
I'm trying to think of another movie that would be easier for you to guess, or not easier for you to guess.
Yeah. Okay.
But now I'm drawing a blank.
What's our time limit?
I'm just gonna say Super Troopers.
What? Oh gosh, Super Troopers. Now you've really got me, because the only one I can say their name is Jay, and I'll butcher his last name.
Chandrasekhar.
Chandrasekhar.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Dukes of Hazzard.
Okay, good. Dukes of Hazzard. Well, hold on, that's not that good, because I don't want to rename who I named before, but I'm trying to remember who played Daisy Duke. Oh, Jessica Simpson.
Oh, geez. Wow. That one's going to be tough. I'm going to challenge you on that one. I can't think of another movie she's been in.
You win, because there's other movies she's been in. They're really bad B movies.
Yeah.
So I don't know the title. Like, one's like almost Private Benjamin or something like that. It's basically like the plot of Private Benjamin, but it's called like She's in the Army Now or something. Something silly. Yeah. Or like B Company Girl or something. I don't know. But I would rack my brain and probably come up with the wrong answer.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what.
You got that one.
I can't think of anything else she's been in.
She's been in some other stuff.
Was she in American Dreams? No.
No, that was
no, she wasn't.
else.
No. Yeah, she's not. Private Valentine.
Employee of the Month with Dane Cook. I should have said that one, because I do remember that.
Okay, well, good.
Right.
Technicality.
So,
so see, it was good that I didn't say Rushmore.
Yeah, very good. Very good. So I'm going to go with Train Spotting.
Okay. Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor. How about I wanted to say something, an obscure one, but I can't. So, the Clone Wars.
Okay. What is it? You mean the Attack of the Clones?
Oh God! Did I just?
I'll give you that.
All right, Attack of the Clones. Sorry.
Natalie Portman.
Okay, Natalie Portman. I got one that you probably won't be able to do, so I won't do that one.
You can do it.
I won't do that one. How about The Professional?
Jean Reno.
Jean Reno. How about he's in a bunch of stuff, but Couples Retreat.
Oh, I never saw that movie, but I believe Jason Bateman's in that movie. Am I correct?
You got it.
Okay.
Good job, Jason Bateman. Starsky and Hutch.
Ben Stiller.
Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Oh man, I've not seen that movie either, but I do know who's in it. What's her name? God, what's her name? I can tell you like other movies she's been in, but I can't tell you what her name is. Kristen Wiig.
Okay, good.
God,
Goodness
jeez,
unbelievable.
God,
unbelievable. All right, Bridesmaids.
Bridesmaids. I'm just gonna say Melissa McCarthy.
Okay. Melissa McCarthy. I guess I'll say. Man, I'm blanking on some of the titles of some of these movies.
See, it's not that easy.
Life of the Party.
That was the most recent one she was in. She was filmed here.
Yes, it was.
She goes back to college.
Correct.
And I have no idea who else is in that movie. Oh, dear God. I don't know. Challenge.
Matt Walsh.
Okay. Yeah, Matt. I know him.
Okay, good.
He
I'm glad you know
Hangover.
Yes.
As well.
The Doctor in Hangover.
Yes,
correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
And he's also on Vice, the HBO show.
Yeah.
Or Veep, sorry.
Veep,
not
Vice.
But, okay.
Okay.
That's pretty good. That's not bad.
Man, I think you let me off the hook on some of them. But I did let you off the hook on the Clone Wars thing.
Yes, because I said the Clone Wars.
Just because although there was a Clone Wars movie, but I don't know if that would count.
It was a TV movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it wouldn't have counted. So that wouldn't have been right.
I was going to say Ben Falcone, who's his...
Yeah.
He was Melissa McCarthy's husband, but then you probably could name any Melissa McCarthy movie.
Yeah, I mean, it would just be whatever Melissa McCarthy movie.
Yeah. Who plays her daughter in that movie?
Molly Gordon? Is that right?
Yeah. I was going to say Maya Rudolph, Bridesmaids as well, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Good, decent game.
Yeah,
decent game.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you. We're running out of time. So
sorry.
Thank you again for watching or listening or whatever you're doing. We would like to thank Eureka Failure again for providing the music, and we want to remind you to comment, share, and whatever, and just let us know what you're thinking, and we would like to hear from you.
Yep, thank you.
All right, bye.